Hello everyone, my name is Pushpendu Roy, Assistant Professor of Zoology, Ranaghat College, Nadia, West Bengal. Today I will discuss about zoological nomenclature. Well, zoological nomenclature is the biological system by which we provide scientific names to the animals. Okay, and the scientific name is composed of two terms. The first term indicates the genus, and the second term indicates the species, as you know of, such as Panthera leo is the scientific name of lion, where Panthera indicates the genus and Leo indicates the species. Next, the origin and history of zoological nomenclature. Actually, the binomial nomenclature system is followed in zoological nomenclature, where bi means two and nomial means name. That is the binomial nomenclature system, which is followed in zoological nomenclature, also is composed of two names. The first one is of genus, and the second one is of species name. And who discovered the system? The system of binomial nomenclature was first introduced by Carolus Linnaeus in 1753. Now we come to the rules of binomial nomenclature. Actually, there are two international codes which are agreed upon by all the biologists all over the world for naming different organisms, such as ICBN and ICJN. Actually, ICBN, or International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, deals with the biological nomenclature of plants, and ICJN, that is International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, deals with the biological nomenclature of animals. As a professor of zoology, I will discuss about the ICJN, that is the naming procedure of animals. In this slide, I will discuss about the ICJN. ICJN, or International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, is a widely accepted convention in zoology that rules the formal scientific naming of animals. That is, if you want to give a scientific name to any animal, you have to follow the rules of ICJN. This code of ICJN has three main parts: the code proper, the appendices, and the glossary. That is, the entire ICJN is divided into three parts. The first part is the code proper, the second part is the appendices, and the third part is the glossary. The code proper includes preamble followed by 90 consecutively numbered articles grouped in 18 chapters. That is, the code proper actually is most extensively described part of ICJN, which includes a preamble and followed by 90 articles. And these 90 articles are again divided into 18 chapters. Now I come to the rules of zoological nomenclature. All the scientific names of organisms are usually Latin, hence they are written in italics. The first rule indicates that you have to give the scientific name in Latin, and when you will write it, you have to write it in italics. There exist two parts of a name. The first one identifies the genus, and the second one identifies the species, as you all know. Third point is that when the names are handwritten, they are underlined or italicized if typed. That is, when you write down the scientific name of any animal, you have to underline that name. You have to underline the genus and species separately. Okay. And when you are typing or publishing something in a book, you have to italicize that scientific name. Okay. Now the third point is that okay, I have already covered the third point. The fourth point is that the name of the genus starts with a capital letter and the name of the species starts with a small letter. Um, when you will write the scientific name, the genus name, in case of genus name, you have to write down the first letter in capital. All the other letters of genus are small letters. And in case of species name, all the letters are in small letters. In this slide, we will know about bi and trinominalism. Whenever we are giving a scientific name to a species, then we have to use binomial nomenclature. And whenever we have to provide scientific name to a subspecies, then we have to use trinomial nomenclature. The example will make the scenario clear. Such the first example is an example of binomial nomenclature. Panthera tigris. It is the scientific name of tiger. As tiger do not have any subspecies, therefore we have to write it in binomial nomenclature. But in case of humans, we have two subspecies. The modern day humans are known as Homo sapiens sapiens, and there was another form of humans. They are extinct now. That was Homo sapiens neanderthalensis. Therefore, whenever you give example of any subspecies, then you have to use trinomial nomenclature. The next most important rule of ICJN is author citation. That is, the name or abbreviation of the name of original author can be used after the scientific name of any animal. For example, the scientific name of lion is Felis leo, and the author of this name is Linnaeus, and he gave this name in 1758. Therefore, we have to write all this information in this way. Felis leo, that is the scientific name, which is followed by Linnaeus, that is the author's name, then a comma. After the comma, you have to write the year of actual publication. Okay, this is author citation. Next point is punctuation marks. Punctuation marks, different punctuation marks are used in scientific names. Comma is used in between the author's name and the year. As in the previous example, you can see there is a comma in between Linnaeus and 1758. Okay, no other punctuation marks are used at the ends of the name. There is no full stop at the end of the scientific names. Okay, next. The most important rule is the law of priority. According to this rule, the oldest given scientific name is always protected by this law. That is, this law promotes the stability of scientific name. If there are several names given to a specific species, then according to this law, the oldest given name is always accepted. Okay, this is the law of priority. Next, use of suffixes, ncs or incs. These are important suffixes used for the species group names based on geographical name. Few species are found in specific geographical areas, and when scientists give name to them, they actually want to give their name according to the region where they found, such as Ludhianensis from Ludhiana, Bengalensis from Bengal, etc. There is the suffix ensis or iensis is used at the end when the species name is based on a particular geographical area. Next. Next are tautonyms. Tautonyms are names when the genus name and the species name are similar word. Okay, such as Naja Naja, Gallus Gallus, Katla Katla, Apus Apus. This kind of names have similar name that is repeated both in genus name and in species name. Even in subspecies name it can be repeated, such as Gallus Gallus Gallus, Apus Apus Apus. These are the examples of tautonyms. Next, synonyms. When two or more names belonging to the same taxon, then they are called synonyms. It is possible that if the same species is discovered by several scientists and they provide different names according to their wish, but according to the law of priority, only the oldest name will be taken as scientific name. All the other names will be treated as synonym for that species. And the last point is homonymy. Homonymy means the same name to the taxa is called homonymy. Here also senior homonym got validity according to the law of priority. Okay. Homonymy means when two different taxa got the same name, then it is called homonymy. Sometimes it happens that the same name become common for two different species. In this case, also the law of priority determines that the oldest given name is accepted and the junior name will be replaced by a new one or new synonym. Okay, and that's all about our zoological nomenclature. Hope you can understand well if you read some reference books. Uh, Thank you for now, and Hope we'll meet again.